You will not even believe that they are completely vegan. These cookies are chewy and soft in the middle with a nice crunchy but light exterior, and are my new favorite cookies and sure to be your favorite ones as well. These are my vegan chocolate chip Levain-Style cookies. Made in only 30 minutes, these cookies are going to be smelling delicious, and all of your neighbors will be convinced that you bought them at a bakery, but you made them in your own home. So let me show you how to make these incredible cookies. I start by placing all of my ingredients into mixing bowls to make this super easy. All of the ingredients will be listed below for your convenience, so make sure to subscribe to the channel for my free recipes that will come straight to you. I like to combine my vegan butter, sugar, salt, and cinnamon all in a large bowl before getting started, because you're going to cream your butter with your sugar, and adding cinnamon and salt just makes it super easy for convenience. And I choose to put it into a large bowl because all of the other ingredients will be added to this larger bowl, so use smaller ones for the subsequent ingredients. These cookies are completely vegan thanks to one very handy dandy ingredient, which is a very old ripe banana. So you want to mash up one very large old ripe banana, which will also add to the sweetness of this recipe, and add a teaspoon's worth of vanilla paste or vanilla extract in another bowl. In your flours bowl, your dry ingredients, you want to add 180 grams of all-purpose flour or flour combinations. I chose the following combination because I wanted to add a little bit of flavor nuance to my cookies. I didn't just want all-purpose flour, but all-purpose flour makes it super easy. I chose to use 100 grams of all-purpose, 40 grams of whole wheat for a health kick, if one can even say that for a cookie, and 40 grams of oat flour that I make at home by just knocking in some oats to a high-speed blender and combining and mixing and blending until very super fine. The key ingredient to these cookies is actually the rising ingredient, which is the baking powder. Most conventional cookies have about a teaspoon's worth of baking powder. These cookies have 9 grams of baking powder, so make sure to carefully measure this out, because this will make sure that your cookie gets very nice and airy and crunchy, but also very soft in the middle. For our add-ins, which is very iconic for the Levain cookies, we're going to be adding quite a bit. 150 grams of chocolate chips, vegan chocolate chips, which I will leave linked in the description because sometimes they can be tricky to find. 50 grams of chopped dark vegan chocolate, typically the ones that come in a bar, and 100 grams of raw walnuts. That's kind of a lot of walnuts. You can reduce it if you prefer, but I like these cookies super chocked full with ingredients. We're going to start with very conventional methods. First, we're going to cream the butter in with the sugar. Combine it with a whisk or in a stand mixer or in a hand mixer. I got lazy and did this with my hand. It just takes a little bit longer. This takes anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes, way faster if you're using a stand mixer or a hand mixer. But if you're doing this by hand, you do want to make sure that everything creams really nicely. You'll know when it's ready when it's a cohesive mass and it's almost like a little ball. You can tell it's almost a dough on its own. Next, you will add your egg, i.e. your banana, with vanilla extract to your creamed butter with sugar mixture. Your butter will look split at this moment in time, but it won't be. This just happens because there's different oils and thickeners and conventional store-bought vegan butter. Just continue with the process and trust it. The following step will be to add your flours. A handy tip that I really like to use when baking in general. I know they say not to do this, but I like to add my baking powder or my rising ingredients to my wet ingredients first, because I make sure that they're really well mixed and activated because they're in the liquid before I add the flour. Afterwards, I add the flour and combine until one solid mass is produced. I like the spatula for this stage. I think it incorporates the flour more evenly than a whisk, but do as you prefer. If you're using a stand mixer, you won't need this step, but add your combination of flours or all-purpose flour in addition to your baking soda to your ingredients. At this stage, stage, depending on the size of your banana. If you had a really big banana like I did, I ended up adding maybe a tablespoon or 2 of oat flour to make sure that the dough was really nice and cohesive. If your dough looks good to go, don't adjust any of the ingredients, but if it looks a little watery, make sure to add a tablespoon or 2 of flour if you prefer. Once you've created your dough, you want to divide it into 4 equal sections. As always, you can use a weighted scale or you can just eyeball it. I eyeballed it, and divide into 4 equal sections. And with wet hands, definitely wet your hands just a little bit in the water. This will make it super easy to make sure that the dough is formed into spheres and none of that dough is sticking to your fingers. Form into 4 balls and then place on a baking mat in a tray to then put it in the refrigerator overnight. I recommend a minimum of 1 hour of refrigeration before baking these cookies. Overnight is ideal. These are going directly in the refrigerator to rest overnight. Van directas al refri. These cookies are perfect. It's the morning after. Really nice and firm and hard, which is exactly what you want. We need to move them and quickly put them in the oven because we don't want them to get warm. They can also be frozen or left in the refrigerator for up to a week. This totally depends on your schedule. You want to preheat your oven to 375 Fahrenheit, 190 Celsius. And we're going to move those cookie dough balls for our cookies onto a larger baking mat and baking tray, separating them so they have ample room to grow in the oven. And once your oven is preheated, you will add your cookies and bake them for 15 minutes in the middle rack, making sure they're kind of in the back part of the oven. This is how I've gotten the best bake on these cookies. No less, no longer than 15 minutes. They will have expanded quite a bit in the oven at this stage when they're done baking. They will be very puffy and you'll want to break them. They look very delicious at this stage, but you want them to cool on the baking mat. Don't touch them for at least 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And then you're going to carefully take a spatula and take those cookies off of the baking mat and baking tray you cooked them in and place them on a wire rack. You want to wait because if you do not wait and you take these cookies immediately out of the oven and you place them onto the wire rack right away, sometimes they collapse because they're not done baking yet when you take them right out of the oven. These cookies will have a perfect, delectable interior. They will be nice and tall. They're, in my opinion, a combination of a cookie and cake in one. I don't think they're a classic cookie in any way, but they are a super indulgent cookie. And they'll be healthier than some of the store-bought cookies you buy just in your ordinary life on the shelves. They are homemade by you. They have less sugar than some cookies, and they have some, I don't know, cheeky, healthy ingredients like a banana. They're also a little bit no waste. They're chock full of chocolate chips and crunchy from the walnuts, soft because of the texture, and that banana really helps retain moisture in the middle of the cookie. Okay, we're gonna try the cookies and a little cup of coffee. Let's see what you think. I'm so excited.
It smells good.
Cheers.
A lot of chocolate chips.
What do you think?
Good.
Too much chocolate? Perfect amount? What are the vibes?
No, I think it's good.
George's is good. The exterior is crunchy while the inside is really gooey. Instead of eggs, we supplemented with banana. There's a very subtle hint of banana and the pieces are like very gently speckled within the cookie, but you don't taste it that much. It's super yummy. It adds to the moistness of the cookie itself. It's the perfect cookie in my opinion. I'm a bit biased because I like a soft cookie. If you're looking for a crispy cookie, this is not your cookie, but I love it. It's super indulgent. Half is enough. Any final comments?
It'll be really good with milk.
We need a cup of milk. This has been Rebecca Martinez. I really hope you've enjoyed this recipe. This has been one of my favorites to make for sure. Let me know down in the comments below what kind of other Levain-style flavored cookies I should make. Should I make a pumpkin one or a chai spice or maybe a snickerdoodle? Let me know below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for completely free recipes to you where I show you how to make everything step by step, explained, and really, really easy recipes. And I divulge my secret little hacks that I've learned along the way. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.